Okay, this entire section really just focuses on a review. If you already remember this stuff, it's going to be really fast and easy. So a few things. We're going to talk about some basic forces that are acting on objects in this class. Fg is the force of gravity. We also call it weight. And the question you need to ask yourself when you're looking whether something has a force of gravity or not is it on a planet? Okay, if it's on Earth, then it's the acceleration due to gravity, which we often write as g, will be 9.8. All right, the next guy is the normal force. Force normal. So this is where if you had a surface and you had like an object like a ball sitting on a surface, the force of gravity pulls down, okay? And if you're on the surface itself pushes back up. So that would be your normal force. So this is, you want to ask yourself, is the object sitting or leaning against a surface? If that's happening, you have a normal force. Okay. Really important, never write this as F net. Some people get F net and F normal confused, and never write F net as Fn. F net, remember, is your total forces. It is not the same as your normal force. Okay, we also have the force of air resistance. And this is the force of air pushing back on an object. So if you move your hand around or if you're driving a car, the air around it is pushing back against your motion. It tends to, it fights motion, okay? So the question you want to ask yourself here is the object moving, and is there air? You need both in order for that one to be true. Another super important one, it's kind of similar to force of air resistance, is force of friction. And this is the force of a surface, kind of like when you rub against a surface, that rub sort of pushing on the object. So I like to ask myself, is the object moving along a surface? If it is, there's force of friction. Okay. The last guy is either easy or hard for you, force applied. And force applied is sort of the catch-all for all the other forces that didn't really fit the rest of these. So I always think of it as like a hand pushing, a rocket pushing, a rubber band pulling, anything like that. A rope pulling, well, that's rope pulling would be force tension. Now, we did cover some other forces previously, but these are the main guys we're going to be focusing on in this section. I guess we could talk about force tension, but I feel like you guys really had that one down, or spring. Okay. Also remember that all forces in this class are measured in newtons. Sometimes in normal layman terms, people measure forces in pounds or foot-pounds in the US, but in this class we always do newtons. So I'll make it pretty here. It's a sun now. That means it's important. Okay, have a nice day.